Hello everyone, welcome to Yin and Restorative Deep Stretch Yoga. For today's class, if you have any yoga props that you would like to use, please feel free. If you happen to have any blocks or blankets or bolsters at home, grab them now, you're definitely going to need them. If you don't happen to have any bolsters, blocks, or yoga blankets, you can pull in some throw blankets from around your house, maybe a nice mix of firm and soft. You can use bath towels, those nice fluffy ones. Or couch cushions. I've been working with a really nice couch cushion over here that seems to serve its purpose pretty well. If you have a few different couches, maybe grab a few different cushions and then see what feels best for you. Again, get creative. The most important thing isn't necessarily how it looks, but again, really how it feels. So find what works, leave the rest. Let's kick back and relax a little bit. So our first posture is going to be a nice, relaxing star pose. You're going to lay down on your back, maybe have a blanket underneath the head, not too much, to use it as a pillow. And with the legs spread out into a nice big X shape. Again, not too much, not too little, just enough. And then arms out to the sides and then up overhead. So your body's in this really nice big X shape, just taking up lots and lots of space. If there's anything in your way, go ahead and move it off to the side. And just allow yourself to be here. Closing your eyes. Begin to bring your focus inward. Letting go of all the stuff that just doesn't need to be here. We're not pushing, we're not straining today. There is no effort. We are placing our body into postures, letting gravity and time do all of the work. If something starts to hurt, if something begins to frustrate you, or make you not like the posture, then just go ahead, come on out, or add support, or take a variation. And we don't want to do a yoga posture for so long that it creates aversion to the posture or injury in the body. Nothing stops a consistent yoga practice faster than pushing too hard, becoming frustrated and injured. So we're all about deep, gentle stretching for this class. So if you begin to feel tension, stress, strain, it's not necessarily that we need to let go of the posture and come out of it, but just kind of take a step back, reassess, and then come back in to see if we can just approach it in a different way. We'll get some groovy, relaxing music. And again, in this class, I'm not going to bug you too much. We're just going to go through some stretching. Some will be very comfortable. Some will feel like a little bit of work because they are very deep stretches. But again, we're just looking for a nice balance. We'll be hanging out in postures for maybe 2+ minutes. Some of them might be a little longer, some might be a little shorter. And again, you listen to your body and come out whenever you need to. Adjust your body when you need to. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. And maybe roll the wrists. And roll the ankles. And switch directions. And stretch out as long as you can, bringing the legs together, pointing the toes, reaching the arms above the head. Nice long stretch, inhale. And exhale, release. And we'll send the legs over to the right. And move the arms over to the right, coming into this nice side stretch. Kind of a big banana shape. I think some people call it Bananasana. It wouldn't surprise me. Again, we're just looking for a nice deep stretch on that left side of the body. If the arms aren't a big fan of being overhead, you can always fold the hands behind the head, taking the elbows wide. Again, not too much, not too little, just enough to get that nice stretch on that left side. If you want a little bit of extra stretch, take that left foot, cross it over the right ankle. See how it feels. And again, you want to take the stretch just that little bit deeper. Maybe take that left arm, extend it up and over. If you notice any tension, strain entering the body or the mind, just dial it back a little bit. Taking the legs a few inches closer to the midline. And allow the body to be as passive as you can, bringing the mind right along with it. Relaxing deep breaths. Just breathing into the side of the body that's opening wide. On your next inhale, come on back to center. If you want to take the soles of the feet to the floor, pressing your low back into the floor, you can do that. If you need to hit the reset button a little bit. And whenever you're ready, we can move to the next side. So extending the legs, then take the legs, shift them over to the left. Take the arms, shift them over to the left. Coming into a nice arch on the right side of the body. Again, not too much, not too little, just enough. Letting the shoulders relax. Again, if you want to deepen, maybe take that right ankle, cross it over the left. It doesn't have to happen, just notice how it feels in the body. Again, if you prefer to have hands behind the head, you can do that too. Relaxing deep breaths. Again, always reconnecting to the breath and to this space. Remembering that we don't need to push ourselves so deeply into these postures that it hurts, or that it's so uncomfortable that it's very unpleasant and distracting. We just want to find a nice stretch and stay there for an extended period of time. Take our body outside of our everyday shapes, sitting, standing, walking, laying down. Even if it's very subtly out of the everyday shapes. On your next inhale, go ahead, come on back to center. Let's take soles of the feet onto the floor. Press your low back into the floor. Take a few nice deep breaths, maybe with the hands at the belly. And then we'll hug knees into the chest. Rock a little side to side. Then we'll take soles of the feet back down to the floor. Extend the right leg up, interlace fingers behind the calf or behind the thigh. And just coming into a gentle hamstring stretch. Let the shoulders relax. A nice gentle gaze up towards the foot or towards the shin. Again, we're not pulling the leg deeper than it wants to go. We're just letting the weight of the arms and gravity decide how deep the stretch becomes. You can have a soft bend to the knees. Left leg can either be sole of the foot on the floor or the leg can be extended. Again, one is not better than another. Just find what feels best for you. And if you like to use a yoga strap in this posture and you don't have one, you can always use a belt. Preferably canvas, but if you do not have a canvas belt, any belt will work. Just pop it up over the foot. Very nice. Let's shift the hips over to the right. And then send that right leg over to the left, coming into a nice big twist. So maybe the floor is a little bit far away. If you want to take some blankets or your cushion underneath that right leg, you can do that. And anything that we can do to give our body a little bit more support during the practice, that's what we want to do. To gently hold ourselves out of that deepest possible position that we can go into. That way we can extend the period of time that we're here and stay in the shape a little bit longer. Again, time and consistency is what creates flexibility. We can't force our way in. We spend time and make it a priority. It doesn't have to be an hour every day. 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you have in a few favorite postures. Keep it simple until it becomes a habit. Again, nice relaxing deep breaths. Maybe shifting your gaze over the right shoulder, getting a nice twist through the cervical spine. On your next inhale, pull the right leg back in. Again, moving nice and slow in and out of postures. Let's release the right sole of the foot down to the floor. Take the left leg and extend it up. Interlace fingers behind the calf or the thigh. Again, we're not pulling or straining ourselves to deepen the posture, to deepen the stretch. We're just letting the body be where it wants to be and let time and gravity and the position do the deepening for us. Right sole of the foot can be on the floor or you can extend the leg. And again, if you like to use a strap or a belt, you can always pop that up over the foot. If you have an old t-shirt that you don't mind getting a little bit stretched out, or a hand towel, you can always do that too. Again, we get creative, or we order on Amazon, or a local retailer. Support your local stores if you can, if they're open. Again, just relaxing, deep breaths, let the shoulders release. A little shaking is very normal. Very nice. And we'll shift the hips over to the left. Maybe send that left leg over to the right. Coming into your nice big twist. And again, we can use some props. Maybe letting that left leg land on a cushion or land on your block or a blanket. Taking your gaze over the left shoulder. On your next inhale, let's bring that left leg back in. Pull both knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice little rock. And maybe lift the head up, drawing the forehead towards the knees, stretching the back of the neck. And we'll release the soles of the feet back down to the floor. On your next inhale, gently lift up the hips. See if you have a cushion or block nearby, and we want to pull the cushion or block underneath the hips, coming into a supported bridge pose. Again, if you don't have a yoga block at home, there's mine. If you don't have a yoga block at home, again, kind of find some cushions, try out a few different things, and see what feels best for you as we move into supported bridge. So supported bridge, you can either be at the
the shortest side of the block, or you can be on the medium side of the block. I probably wouldn't recommend going up to the tallest unless you've already been doing some back bending today. But again, it's your body, it's your practice. You're probably at home, so you do what you want. Again, if you don't have a block, just try some things out. A few firm bath towels stacked up a few times right underneath the pelvis would work just fine. Anything that we can do to get ourselves out of our everyday postures, and anything we do here will be out of the everyday. And let the body relax. If you still have a cushion underneath your head, or if you have a blanket, go ahead and take it out so the neck has some space. And again, arms are out to the sides of the body with a nice open outward rotation with the palms facing up. If you're really working on shoulder flexibility, maybe you even want to take the arms up and overhead. On your next inhale, gently lift the hips up. Slide your prop out from underneath you. Release the hips back down nice and gently. Again, hug your knees into your chest. And soles of the feet back down to the floor. Maybe drop the knees a little side to side. And we'll work our way up to seated. And then we'll flip on over and come to child's pose. Extend the arms out in front, take the seat back towards the heels. Again, this is a nice place to add props as well. If you want to take your cushion out in front of you, coming into a supported child's pose, you can do that. Or if you have a block, you can take the block underneath the forehead.
next inhale, we're going to come up, lift the right arm up. And exhale, we're going to thread the needle through, but we're doing a thread the needle from child's pose. So we don't have the hips up. And take the left hand to the floor space above the head, or you can wrap it around behind you. If you prefer a traditional thread the needle, you can always come up and you would start from hands and knees position. And thread the needle here. One posture is not better than another, it just depends on what you feel like doing today. Again, just allow the body to be as passive as you can. Finding the postures and the variations that are right for you. Again, if something doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel useful, just either adjust it so you can find a way to comfortably be in the posture, or just come out, remembering that nothing is required. Very nice. On your next inhale, let's come back up. We're going to move to the other side. So whether you're in the child thread the needle or traditional, you're either up on hands and knees or you're just kind of up with the seat back towards the heels. Lift the left arm up. Exhale, thread the needle through. Let the shoulder come down. Move the right arm to the floor space above the head, or you can wrap it around behind you. Again, find what works. On your next inhale, go ahead, come on up. And we'll come up to hands and knees. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head, lift the tail, cow. Exhale, lift your belly, drop your head, tuck your tail to cat. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head, lift the tail, cow. And exhale, lift your belly, drop your head, tuck your tail, cat. Inhale, come to neutral spine, flat back. And exhale, we'll come all the way down onto the belly. And prop yourself up onto your elbows for Sphinx pose. Elbows right underneath the shoulders. We're propped up on our long arm bones. Hands can be, forearms and hands can be just right out in front, or you can take the palms together if you want. And if this is too much for your back, I've already done a little bit of back bending today. You can always take your towels, your blankets, your cushions right underneath this part of the chest, the upper part of the chest, and be here. Again, it kind of gentles up the back bend a little bit. It takes it out of the low back and brings it up towards the upper part of the back and the cervical spine.
And keep the crown of the head lifted. If you want to stretch the back of the neck, you can drop the chin and roll a little ear to shoulder. You don't need to, but you can. And if this is feeling really, really good, you can creep the fingertips forward, push the arms to straight. And stay here. However, if this doesn't feel good, if that low back is chit-chatting with you a little bit, if it feels more crunchy than anything, come right back down. Again, no yoga posture is worth harassing your low back for, so find what works, leave the rest. And go ahead, come on down. Sway the hips a little side to side. And then we'll take the right arm into a stop sign. And then we're going to lift the left knee up as high as it'll go. And then pull it out to the side. You can use the left hand as a pillow. For some of you, this might be a really, really comfortable posture. Might be a sleeping position. But we just want to draw that left hip down towards the floor. Again, no pushing. We're just changing the position of the body. And again, some postures are much more comfortable than others. If you're on a really hard surface and you want to pull a blanket underneath you, you absolutely can, especially if your knee is off of the mat and on a hard floor. Sometimes taking a little cushion underneath that is nice. And on the right hand, just creep the fingertips up just a little bit more and see how the sensation in the shoulder changes. Very nice. Come on back to center. Taking the left leg down, taking the right arm in. This time the left hand goes out into the stop sign. And we're going to pull the right knee up nice and high. Maybe use that right arm as a pillow. And again, think about that right hip coming down towards the floor. Wiggle yourself around until you find that really nice, comfortable posture. And again, maybe creep those left fingertips up just a little bit more and see how the sensation changes in the shoulder. And come on back to center. Taking the right leg back. Take the hands by the sides of the chest. Very slowly press yourself up and back to child's pose. And take a few nice deep breaths, send them towards the back of the body. And walk the hands on over to the right, sending the left hip back in space. And come on back to center, and then send the hands over to the left, sending the right hip back in space. And come on back to center. And come on up, and we'll take our practice over to the wall. Now, I looked around my house and I realized that I don't really have a blank wall anywhere. We have a small house, plenty of furniture, or at least a blank wall where the lighting was decent. So I'm going to be using the fireplace. We'll take our practice over to the wall. Again, this is where it gets tricky for me. We'll move our plant. So you're going to scoot up to the wall. We're going to do legs up the wall. So you're going to take your seat and move it as close to the wall as you can. Lay down on your side and then roll over onto your back and pop your legs up. Now you'll have a wall directly behind your legs. We have this lovely fireplace thing, so I'm not able to do that with you. But that's okay, I can just have legs up just like this. If you too also have no wall that you can use, the back of a door works just fine. Whatever you have, find it, use it. Or you can just keep legs extended. And we just want the body to be nice and passive, comfortable and relaxed. And if you notice that the back of your head, that the back of the neck feels short and that your chin is leading up towards the ceiling, go ahead and grab your blanket, towel, or a thin cushion. Maybe bring it underneath the head. So we want the back of the neck to feel nice and long, and we want the chin to be level with the floor, chin not to the chest, and not leading up with the chin to shorten the back of the neck. We want a nice long spine, comfortable and relaxed. And if you want to take the legs wide, you can do that too. Again, wide is always a relative term. So find where it feels nice. Again, this is a pretty deep posture, so we wouldn't hold it for very long, maybe a minute or so. Again, if any posture ever gets uncomfortable, feel free to come out. No big deal. Now on your next inhale, let's take the soles of the feet onto the wall, and you're going to push yourself about a lower leg's distance back. I don't know where my camera is, if you can see this, but we take ourselves from the wall, and then we push about a lower leg's distance back. So that's lower leg. We're going to come into a reclined pigeon pose. So we're going to take that right ankle and cross it over the left knee. So take the right ankle over the left knee, hanging out right here, a nice reclined pigeon pose. So hanging out, getting a nice stretch through the hip, no work, no effort, no nothing. And you can scoot your seat as close as you want to the wall. The closer the seat is to the wall, the more that the force from this leg and the wall brings your right leg in to deepen the pose. Again, you want to be somewhere that you can actually sustain and maintain the posture. It's not about jumping into the deepest posture you can possibly get into on the first few breaths. It's really about finding a deep stretch that feels good, but also that you can maintain for the extended period of time, because it's really the time that makes this practice effective. If you do too much too fast, you end up just begging to get out of the posture, and we don't want to do that. We want to hang out. We want to do our time. So it takes time for the body to create more flexibility. And we'll go ahead and switch sides. If you need to do any counter postures between sides, go right ahead. And remember, right and left side of the body are a little bit different, so you might need to scoot your seat a little bit closer to or further from the wall to find that the best posture for you. And also, I guess I can mention this, if you don't have a wall, you can always interlace fingers. Really traditional. Interlace fingers behind the thigh or in front of the shin. So simple, you almost forget. go ahead, come on out. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice little rock side to side. And then we'll bring our practice back over to the mat. And we'll set up for our final posture. So I'd like to do a supported Supta Baddha Konasana. So Supta Baddha Konasana, you take the soles of the feet together, knees wide. Again, I like to do this usually with a bolster in class. So this is where the couch cushions come in handy, or you can take your blanket or towels, fold them into a rectangle shape, and then roll. This is a really small blanket, but you get the idea. All right, so this can go behind the body, or we have our nice big cushion, which can also go behind the body. And then we leave a little bit of space between the lower back and our cushion or blanket. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. And then recline yourself back over the cushion. Now, if you have kind of a cushion that slopes back and you feel like your chin is, again, lifting up, we may need to get a little bit creative and make your stack custom. But make sure that the back of the head is nicely supported so the back of the neck stays nice and long. Again, we don't want the chin moving up and we don't want it pushed onto the chest. We just want long back of the neck, nice long spine. And again, make sure that your arms can comfortably make it to the sides of the cushion. And if your hips have already kind of had enough today, you can always come out of Supta Baddha Konasana and just extend the legs. This posture is much more kind of about opening up through the chest and the upper part of the back and the front of the chest. Drawing those shoulder blades back and together, opening up through the heart, the front of the body. And again, if you don't have any of the props and you just want to take a nice traditional Shavasana, just laying on the ground without anything beneath you, that's fine too. So this is our final posture for the class today. But if there was a posture that you would really hope that we didn't do, or a variation, go right ahead. Just spend a little bit of time there. Make sure that it's comfortable but effective. Always your body, always your practice. So close the eyes, allow your body to relax as much as you can. Again, try for these last few minutes of class to again just let go of the day. Let go of anything that needs to be done or was done. And just bring yourself right here to this feeling of ease and relaxation. Nothing needs to happen. You don't need to be anywhere. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to be anything. You just are. So at any time, if you would like to remove the props out from underneath you, you absolutely can. And gently begin to deepen your breath. Invite movement back into your body by wiggling your fingers and toes and stretching your hands and your feet. Continuing this movement, take the soles of the feet to the floor, reach the arms long above the head, nice big stretch. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, either roll to the side or just kind of come up to a comfortable seated position, however you can.
And we'll take hands together at the heart. I'd like to thank each of you for allowing me to be a part of your practice today. I'm so very grateful for the opportunity to teach and be taught. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be peaceful, happy, and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of our own lives contribute to happiness and freedom for all beings without exception. The light within me honors the light that shines so brightly within each of you. Namaste. Well, thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed class today.